Hi, it's Abby Cadabby, and I'm going to do a video on complex design editing in Embird Editor. So let's get started. And I'm going to bring in the design that I finished editing so that you can see what it looked like at the tail end. So this was my finished design, but this is not even close to how this design looked when I first started it. So I'm going to start from the beginning, and I'm going to open the original design that I used, and it was called Sewing Grandma. And so I'm going to open the design, and this is what it looked like originally. So anyway, what I wanted to do was I want to save these glasses first. So I need to separate them so that I can save them as a separate design element. And I believe this black here, not that one, this second to the last black is the glasses. So I'm going to right click on this color chip and separate out that color. And so I'm just going to move that off to the side because I will use it later. And then it also separated out the lips and a little other black stuff, but I'm going to go ahead and delete that because I'm not going to use it. Now I'm going to use my freehand select tool, and I'm going to remove the head of Sewing Grandma. And I want to come down here close to the chin because I want to save as much of the neck as I can. And I'm just going to go right under the chin here and then back up and double click until it turns red. And then I'm going to split and delete the head. And it looks like I missed a hair right there. Cut it too sharp. I'll just go around that and split it and trash that. So now I want to bring in a second design. So I'm going to use merge. And the second design is called Ladybug Sewing Girl. And I'm going to use the smallest design here. And so here's my Ladybug Sewing Girl. So again, I want to split out colors in this design, but I want to try to save as much as possible. So I'm going to right click on the green and delete. And then I'm going to want to see what this left color, oh, it's uh, the color of the flesh color of her legs. So I'm going to delete that. And then I want to see what this, okay, that's part of the ladybug, so I'm going to delete that. And the next color, I'm going to delete all of that. And the next color is the outline on the ladybug, so I can get that. And I think the next color is her arms, so I'm going to do that. And then I have this white, and I can go ahead and delete that. And so now if you look closely, I'll zoom in, you can see I have a little gap between the outline stitching around the bottom of her face and the rest of her body. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my freehand select, and I'm going to very carefully work my way right through there and not try to catch any of that top stitching that goes around the face. And it won't let me move over, so I'll just cut it short and then do a second. And so I'm going to split and delete. And then when I zoom back in, I can come back over. I want to move my glasses because they're kind of in the way. And so I'm going to select a few more things here and delete them. And I'm going to come right up here and try to skim right through there. And then I'm going to zoom back out. And I'll split and separate. And now all I have left is this pink hashtag by her face, which I think is this color here. So I'm going to get rid of these glasses anyway. So I'm not really too concerned about coming in and getting some of the stitches for the glasses. So I'm going to split that and separate. And then I need to find the color for the glasses. That's her lips, so it's probably this color here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide all colors except for this orange. So I'm going to come hide all colors except this one. And so now I can use my freehand select, and I'm just going to go around the glasses here and split and delete. And now I'm going to go back to my color chips here in my object order panel, and I'm going to show all colors. So that's what I have so far. And so anyway, I'm going to work on these glasses a little bit because I need to remove Grandma's nose here. So it'd be easier if I brought it into the work table. And so I'm going to zoom way in here. And I'm going to use my freehand select to get as many of these stitch points as I can. So I'm going to come through here. And then I'm going to get close to the edge of the glasses and hopefully select something there. And I'm going to split and delete. Now I still have this double row of stitching here that I want to eliminate. So I'm going to go to my normal view because I've been in 3D Matte. So I'm going to click on normal view, and then I'm going to use my points editing tool, and I'm going to come in here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more, and I'm going to hold down my shift button, and I'm going to start clicking on all these nodes that look like they were part of the bridge of the nose. So I just keep doing this till I get to the last one, and I'm almost there. You can see I got a little plus sign hanging off of my cursor, and that tells me that I have activated the multiple node function. So once I have them all selected, I'm just going to hit the delete button on my keyboard, and I did pretty good. I missed a few. So I'm going to go back up, and I think that's one. I'll just select that one to begin with, and I'm just hitting the delete button on my keyboard. And then I got a few over here that I need to get, so I'll hold down the shift button so I can get them all at one time. Hit the delete button, and there's still a few that I missed. And then you can see over here, I have kind of my stitches are kind of messed up. So what I want to do is I want to add a couple stitches to fill in this void kind of area here. So I'm going to select this node right here, and I'm going to take my control button and my cursor turned to a needle, and I'm going to click only 2 clicks. And so now I'm going to take this stitch node here, and I'm going to bring it down, and I'm going to take this one and move it up, and I'm going to delete that stitch point, and then I'm going to move this down more, and then I'm going to move that one up, and actually I only needed 2 nodes, so I will delete the extra one I placed. And now I have this curve to the glasses, so I want to eliminate that. So I'm going to come in here where it's the worst, and I'm going to hold down my shift button again, and I'm going to keep clicking on these nodes, and then I'm going to pull them out a little bit more till I think they need to come out even a little more. So I'm kind of trying to get in line with this. And so now I'll bring this one out and this one up. This one needs to go a little bit more. And I'm just kind of eyeballing this, trying to get a nice curve to the edge of the frame of the glasses. This node needs to come over here to fill that in a little bit better. And so now I'm going to look at it in 3D Matte. and you can see I have some gaps in my stitches. So I'm going to go back, and I think there was a gap here, so I'm going to move that this way, move this one this way, move these a little bit, and then I'm going to add 2 stitch points. And I'll bring that one up. I really only needed to add, I need that one there. I'm going to bring this one down and bring that one up into that space and move that over a little bit so it's not so crowded. And so now I'll look at it in 3D Matte again, and that looks pretty good. So I'm happy with that. So I'm going to change my glasses to red. So I'm going to right click on my black color chip for the glasses. It's this second object here. So I'm going to right click, and I'm going to click on change color from catalog. And I want a red. I want a real red. So I'm going to use this wildfire. So I have my glasses. And if you notice, there's a little bobble in the stitching here, right here. So I want to eliminate that. I'm kind of picky about that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to come in here and start deleting a few of these little stitches here. That one, I'll just pull it down. And so now I'm going to look at it, and it looks better. I don't think anybody's going to really notice that one little stitch right here at the bottom. And it's really, actually, I'll just see if I can delete it. It doesn't want to delete. There it goes. So that looks better, nice and smooth. So I'm just going to leave those off to this. I'm going to select them in my objects order panel and bring them off to the side. And now I'm going to select the head, and I'm going to bring it and put it on top of the neck here. So that looks better. So the next thing I would want to do is I want to change the color of the neck because I want it the same color as her head. So I need to figure out what color her neck is. So I'm going to come over here and click on, I got lucky the first try. So the color of her face, I believe, is this color right here. And so I'm just going to left click on this color chip and drag it up to this color chip, which was her neck. And I'm going to say set identical, and now her neck's the same color. And also I want to change the color of her hands. So I have to figure out which ones her hand is. Okay, it's that one there. So I'm going to do the same thing. Click on this color chip for her face and drag it up to the hands and let go and set identical. Excuse me. So then the next thing I want to do is I want to try to put my glasses in place. And so I want to select the glasses, and the glasses are in the wrong order. They're going behind her head. So I need to click on my glasses in my object order panel, and I'm going to left click on it, and I'm going to drag it down with my mouse. And when I get on top of her head, I'm going to release my button and insert after. So now when I bring it over, they're in front, but these glasses are not going in the right direction. They need to rotate a little bit, and I also want them somewhat larger. So I'm going to use this resizing node on the corner, and I'm going to drag it up, which also increases it vertically and horizontally. And so then I'm going to put my glasses kind of where I want them, and I need to rotate them. So I'm going to use my rotate mode, and I get this rotation node here, and so I can rotate them, and I think that's looking a little better. So then I'm going to move them up a little bit, just a hair, so that her eyelashes aren't covered. So that looks okay to me. So then the next thing I want to do is this is a necklace made out of spools of thread, and it's not very well done. So I'm going to really zoom in on this. You can kind of see it's a total mess, and it has a bunch of running stitches here. The stitches aren't going very well. So I spent a lot of time editing this, and I won't go into all of it here, but I'm going to go back to my 3D map view, and I want to hide a lot of these colors because all these colors behind it make it more difficult to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to hide the green and this black outlining. I'll hide her neck. I want to hide this brown and gold here. So I'll hide that and this. And now this black here and this, that's supposed to represent the thread on the spools, but in my opinion, it doesn't even closely resemble that. But I'm going to work on the ends of the spools, these cream colored. So I'm going to hide this black, and I'll hide the gold and this green. So now, and I could also hide that orange for the time being. So that kind of straightens all that up a little bit. So now I'm going to go to normal view, and as you see when I do that, I can't see my spools. So I'm going to go up to my hoop, and I'm going to change my hoop color, and I'm going to make it something higher contrast. So I'm going to try this blue here. So I'm going to do that and say okay, okay. And it's better, but I could have even done better. So, but I can see what I'm doing. And I think you can see too. So anyways, I'm going to use my points editing node. And so I have all these spool ends here. And so I started moving them into place and trying to get things more even. So I brought different things down here, and I kind of deleted some things that were just extra stitches that just kind of, there must be multiple stitches here. I know what the problem. If I put I have a wireless keyboard. If I put it on my laptop, it quits working. So I have all of those. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of these nodes here and hold my shift button down. I'll make sure I got them all. They should look a little bold when I have them selected, and doesn't seem to be working. There we go. Now I'm going to drag them all up, and then I'll unclick and click this one and bring it down and bring that up there. And then I'm going to do the same for this down here. I'm going to bring that up, and I'm just trying to get them even. And then I'm going to delete these extra. And this one is sitting way out there. I don't know of any spools of thread that are shaped like that. And just going to delete this one. So I'm just right clicking on it to delete it. And I'm going to bring that in and these are a lot of extra stitches here. And all these little stitches piled up in this. I'm going to click on stitch type here and change the floating. Hopefully I got one. I'm not going to put a tie in. And if you look, you can't really see, but my line turned to a dotted line. I'm going to change the color of this so you can see better. There, much better. So you can see the dotted line now. And so I'm going to try to get that, and I'm going to bring that stitch up here and kind of move that over there. So, and then I'm going to select all of these along the bottom by holding down my shift button. I'm going to drag them up so it's about that size. And so I continued to work my way around with this. Took me some time. I had to rotate some of these. So that one wasn't too bad. And so this time I'll just go from the top because that looks easier. Bring those down. And then I was looking for this node here. Want to change it to a jump stitch. Because it has these little other stitches right on top of it and it's already buried under stuff, so I don't need to put a tie off there. And I'm going to delete this extra node here and this one here because it's just kind of, and this one here. Bring that one up a hair. Bring that. This it just has tons of stitches that you don't need. And so I'm going to delete that one. So I'm left clicking on it to select it and right clicking on it to delete it. So that looks okay. And then I'll come up to this one and I'll move that down and move that down. Kind of get that right where I want it. And I'm going to start deleting extra nodes here. And this one, there's no reason, these are so small, there's no reason to have all these little running stitches in here. And it looks like it's a triple stitch. I mean, that's just really overkill for an underlay. Oh, that's okay there. And so I'm going to straighten these up a little bit. I don't want that node sitting outside because that's just going to make it look a little weird. Okay, so I think you get the picture here of what I was doing. So then I looked at it in 3D matte, and these are the ones I didn't mess with. These are the ones I have, not this one, but so these four I have not messed with, and these four I have. So I'm going to just kind of fix this up here a little bit, make it look better. Pull that down there, try to do this quickly. And then there was all these extra jumbled stitches here. It didn't make a nice transition between the and this 6-way. I don't even need that stitch. And I don't need this one. So I'm going to bring this, get rid of that. I'm trying to find the stitch I put, and I don't need that, I don't believe. I don't need that. And you get all these little stitches here, and I'm just going to put that like right there, and then bring a stitch right there to connect the two. And then I'll just bring these two up here. And so then I want to narrow all of these down again because they're too fat. The ends of the ends of spools of thread are not bigger than the actual part of the spool that holds the thread. So I'm trying to make it look more realistic. I'm trying to get rid of this stitch point here. That's multiples. I mean, there's just okay. Looks a little better. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in back in the colors of the thread. So I'm just going to come back up to my objects order panel, and I'm going to show all colors, and I'll look at it in 3D. And so that's what it looks like right now. And so these threads, there's 2 blacks. Well, there's 4 blacks and a green and a gold. And this is a bead. So I'm going to find out where all those colors are, and I'm going to change them. And so I think this green is the part of the jacket, and this green is, oh, that's black, and then that's that. And so I just keep hiding colors until okay, so I want to separate this black. So I'm going to separate the black, and so now it jumped my colors down, and I'm going to separate this gold. So I'm going to separate color, and the next thing I want to separate, I believe, is this green. Yep. So I'm going to separate the green, and okay, so that's pretty good. I'm not going to worry about these jump stitches because I think they're going to, well, maybe I should. So I just need to figure out where they're going. Again, we have triple stitches in here. This is just really going to screw up your design. So I am taking the time to delete them. So I'm going to I'm hoping I'm selecting the right end of this. And I'm going to go down to stitch type. It tells me it's a running stitch. I want to change it to a stitch. No. And it changed it to a dotted line. So I'm going to do the same thing down here. I'm going to change that to a floating stitch. The reason I'm saying no to the tie-offs is because these stitches are already buried under other stitches, so it doesn't really make a difference. Okay, and then I got this little mess over here. And I'm continuing to left click and I'm going to click on this one, and I didn't get lucky. As I said, this design was kind of a nightmare to begin with. So now I got my connecting stitch there, so I'm going to change it to a floating stitch. I hope I went away. And I'm going to say no. And so I think I got, oh, I have one left up here. I can tell this is a running stitch because it's a solid line. And this one's hopefully will be easier. Okay, so now when I go back to my 3D mat and I'm going to turn off my points editing tool, so I'm on 3D mat, it looks like that, and I'm going to be picky, and I'm just going to nudge these little stitch points in here a little bit so I don't have those gaps, and then I'll go back and look at it. Looks a little better, and I'm going to nudge it over more, and this needs to go away, and so I think that looks better. So now I'm going to find my thread colors, and so I want to hide all my spool colors, and so I gotta find the spools again, and I think it's this color here. Nope, nope. It has to be one of those. Oh, wait a minute. I have to turn that off. Okay. So I have I still had my points editing tool on, and it wouldn't make any changes until I went back to my select tool. So I did manage to click the right one somewhere along the way. So I'm going to turn my black back on for my um, thread and this one and this one. And so now I'm going to zoom in, and I want to separate these different threads. So I'm just going to make a square around each one. Double click, and I'm going to split, and it came down here, and I'm going to change the color of this to something other than black. So I'm going to pick this pink, and then I'm going to select the next one, and I'm going to use my freehand select tool, and I'm going to split that one, and I'm going to change it again to another color, and I picked pink before, so I might pick this lime green. No, maybe this pale green. And then I want to change this green. I don't like it because it's the same color as the jacket. So I'm going to change that. And I'll pick this cerise. And then this little circle thing, I'm going to make the same color as the dots in the headband. So I need to figure out which one are the dots. There's that one. So I'm going to come back to this, and I'm going to separate out my little bead and split it. And so I think it was this one here. I'm just going to drag that. I wanted the exact same color, and now I only have these two blacks left, and it's going to be easier if I do it this way because I was on 3D, so I can cut through here. And I'm going to split, and I'll change this to maybe a blue. I want kind of a bright blue. That's maybe too dark. We'll try that one. And so I have just this one black left, but it has this funny tail going to it, and I don't need that. So I'm going to use and I'm going to come and click on these nodes, these black nodes, and delete. And I'm going to have to change the color of my hoop again. I'll go back to that pale color. So I need to find this black node hiding underneath the orange one. And so I'm going to delete, put that back about where it was. And then the same with this. And I'm going to just put that node on top of there and delete this one. And then put this orange one here. And so then I have this black node here. And I'm going to delete. And that brings me all the way back to my last color here, which is kind of round. So it needs to be squared up. So I'm just going to bring these nodes out to the sides here. I'm trying to get kind of a rectangle shape. I'm trying to space these kind of evenly. So let's take a look at that in 3D Matte. Much better. This edge here could be a little bit better. Let's bring those out of here. And I'm going to change the color of this. And we're going to use the catalog. And I don't think I've used a yellow. I'm going to use a bright yellow. So now I'm going to show all colors again. As you can see, as I'm going along, I'm getting more and more objects in my object panel. And I'm going to look at this in 3D. And my thread spools are on, some of them are on the right side of the thread and others are on the wrong side. So I need to fix that. So I'm going to move this blue up and I'm going to put it before this part of the design. I think this is this sewing spool and the body. And then I'm going to bring the green up and do the same thing before, and the pink up before, and this little green bead, or not green, orange bead. Bring that up. And so it's looking a little better, but it's kind of wonky right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this yellow thread and I'm going to rotate it a little bit. See if I can get it to, oh, I don't have the rotate tool selected. There we go. And so I'm going to rotate it to see if I can get it to fill in there better. And then because I had actually accidentally moved it, I'm going to scoot it back down so it goes under there. So that looks a little better. And then I need to figure out which, no, not that one. Okay. So I'm going to move this bead down and it needs to go after here. So now when I move it up, it covers the bottom of that. And I'm not real, I need to move my thread a little bit to put them in the middle of the spools. And that one needs to rotate a little bit. And how did I end up with this gold one? I don't want this gold one. I want to change the color of that. And so I'm looking for a purple. Go with that one. And so I'll select it, and I still have my rotate tool on a little bit. So just a hair there, and then I'm going to move it over a smidge. And I really need to move that over, but I'm not going to mess with that right now. And then I'll select my blue, and I can scoot that in. And actually, what I might do with my blue, I'm just going to click on all these blue nodes right here. Make my blue shorter. So that looks better. So now I can select it again and move it back this way. And this yellow, there's something really going wrong with the yellow. So I'm going to take a look at that. So I'm going back to normal view. And I need to turn off a lot of stuff. So I'm going to go back to, I'm going to hide a lot of colors again. Hide all those colors. And hide all those colors. And so I need to see what's going on in this yellow here. See if I can clean that up. See, I got all these little extra stitches right here. So I'm going to delete those. Change my hoop color back to that navy color or royal that I had so I can see this better. These nodes, I have this problem every now and again. The node doesn't want to select. I'm not sure why that happens. Okay, so we'll see what happens here once I get this straightened out a little bit. This node is being obstinate. It doesn't want to select. Oh, there it goes. I'm going to add a stitch here. So I'm going to select the stitch and use my control button and my cursor turned to a needle. I'm just going to drag it into the space to fill that better. So let's look at that in 3D Matte. It looks much better. So I'm going to turn back on all my colors. Show all colors. Show all colors. So the necklace is looking a lot better. I'm going to change this jump stitch here. and that's a running stitch, so I want to change it to a jump stitch. So I'm going to hide all, I believe it's this, yeah. So I'm going to hide all colors except that one. And so now I can go to normal view, and I'm going to draw a box here around those, and I'm going to have to change my hoop color again. I changed my hoop color like 8 times when I did this originally. And so I'm looking for this jump stitch, and it's somewhere in here, I believe. It's not a jump stitch, it's actually a running stitch. There it is, found it. So I'm going to right click on it and click stitch type and change to a floating stitch. No, I'm not going to put tie offs because there was like 4 stitches sitting on top of it. So, and show all colors. So that looks pretty good there. So then the next thing I wanted to do is get rid of these little curly cues on her little buns on her head. So I'm going to go back to normal view. And I'm just going to start clicking on these here. And I'm going to just hold down my shift button and keep clicking. And then click delete. And it was a double stitch, I believe. So that's why only the first layer deleted. And I'm going to do the same over here. And again, I'm going to go all the way around this little curly cue. And so that looks pretty good. I'll look at it in 3D Matte again. So now I want to fancy her up a little bit. And so I'm going to merge in some other designs. And so I'm going to go back to my sewing folder, and I'm going to go to my sewing notions folder, and I'm looking for, I thought I saved it. I'm looking for this little needle. So I'm going to add that. And I'm looking for some buttons that I saved. That was one of them. So that'll work. And then I was looking for a straight pin. And I'm not sure I'm going to find it. It's very small. It's hard to see. So I know it came from this group here. So I'll just select that again. And so select that and move it off to the side here. And I'm going to, okay, that makes life easy. So now I'm going to just draw a circle around this one straight pin here. And I'm going to separate that out. And I'm going to delete the rest of the design. And so now I have this one straight pin. So I'm going to select that. And I'm going to rotate it. Well, yeah, right now I think I'll leave it as it is. And I'm going to bring it up here. And I do want to rotate it a little bit. So now I'm going to rotate it there. And then I'm going to do a copy and a paste. Copy and paste. And I'm going to bring it over to the other little bun. And I'm going to rotate it the other way. And bring it down. And I don't want it quite so close to this curly Q, so I will rotate it a hair more that way. And then I did bring in this little needle and thread here, so I'm going to rotate that just a little bit. So it's more like that. And I'll bring that down just a hair more. And then this is a button that I'm going to use as an earring. So I'm going to put that so it goes behind the glasses, but right now it's in front. And I'm going to do a copy and paste. So copy and paste and bring the other earring over to this ear here. And so then I need to get all these parts of my design in the right order. So I need to figure out, here's the head. So I want those pins for her buns to stitch out before the head. So I'm going to click on the first pin and I'm going to bring it up to the head, and I left clicked on it and held my left mouse button down as I dragged up, and then I'm going to insert before, and again I left click on it, drag it up to the head and insert before, and so now my pins look like they're going through the buns. And so then I need to find the glasses, and I'm not seeing them. I thought they were separate. Oh, there they are. So I want to bring these little buttons that I used as earrings before the glasses. They need to stitch before. And so I'm going to zoom in here. I don't know why this got a guideline that popped in there. So I got that like that, and that looks like that. And I want to change the color of the thread on the spool. And so I believe that's these three colors here. So I want to use this same blue that I have on the thread coming out of the needle. So I want to see which is the outside color. So I'm going to take this blue and I'm going to bring it up to this kind of maroon color and set identical. And then I'm going to right click on this other maroon and I'm going to use change color. And I want to find a little darker shade of blue. And then I think I want something light blue to replace this white. And so I need a light blue. And that might be okay compared to the others. And so that kind of looks okay. And I need to fix that jump stitch there, but that'll be easy to do. And I'm looking at her mouth to see if they kind of split the glasses okay, and it looks all right to me. So now that I have all my um, parts together and everything looks like it's stitching in the right sequence, nothing, oh, I need to move this needle. Um, so let's see where it is. And so it needs to go behind the black of the jacket, the black outline stitching on the jacket. And the jacket's way up here at the top. So I'm just going to grab my needle, select it, left click, drag and insert before. And that didn't quite work the way I thought it would because now it's behind. So this is the jacket green. So I'm going to separate that color. So that's there. And so I need the needle after the green, but before the black. Okay, so there it is. And I'm going to reposition it a little bit again. I want it to be kind of look like it's sewing through the material, and I'm going to rotate it a hair so that thread's sitting. Now I need to pull it back up a little bit so you can see there we go. So you can see the point. And so now I'm happy with that. And oh, one other thing I noticed was that there's this gap right here, and I need to change my glasses a little bit because there's a gap here. So I'm going to go back to normal mode and change my hoop color again so you can see what I'm doing. See, there's this gap right here. So I'm going to use my points editing mode tool and zoom way in right here. And I'm just going to take these stitches and pull them back and forth across to fill this area. Bring that there and bring this one up there and bring that over there and bring that in there. So let's look at that in 3D Matte. And I think I need to fix this stitch right in here. So I'm going to just bring that one right in there up, and I'm going to bring that one over to kind of fill in that hole. Well, let's see. That looks better. So I'm going to take my glasses again, and I want to tilt them so that it fills in this gap right here. So I need to rotate. And so now when I rotated it, the eyes are kind of off. So I need to figure out which one's the eyes. So I'm going to split before color and oops, I'm going to undo that. Oh, wait a minute, I'm on the wrong thing. Okay, so I click on the brown for the eyes and I'm going to split before color. So here it is down here. And then I'm going to split this brown out. And so all I want, I'm going to hide a bunch of stuff. Nope, not that. I want the face. And I'm going to hide my glasses. And I'm going to separate these eyes out. And I'll separate out the other eye. So now I'm going to turn my glasses back on. And I have my eyes separated so I can move them a little bit and bring them where I need them to be. So I think that looks better. So now I'm going to show all colors again. Okay, no, yeah, that's okay. So now I need to try to get this all back together in the right order. So let's see if I can achieve that. So far the green looks like it's stitching first and then my little decorative stitch. And this part looks okay. Oh, I'm missing, oh, I need to show all these colors. Okay, so everything below the neck, in my opinion, looks like it's stitching in the right sequence. There's nothing that should be in front or behind something else. So I think from here down to this pin here. This is the straight pin going through her hair bun. I'm going to join all those. And then I'm going to this is the dark brown. And so I want to join my two eyes. And I'm going to join them. And I want to move this up to stitch with the other brown. So now I can join those two. I think we're still okay. And then this orange right here, and this orange, that's coral, and that's coral. So I'm going to move this before the brown for the eyes, so that when I join, these two corals will be together. And I'm going to split out these colors here. And I'll do the same here. And then I'm going to join my two purples together so that they'll stitch as one. And so I'm going to try joining these two halves together. And let's see what happens. So far okay. And she looks pretty good, in my opinion. So I'm going to join the other two halves. And change my hoop back to its original color. Any difference what it is when I save it. Oh, hold on a minute. I should just use default. And so there's my design. It's a little easier to see. And I would probably, this purple is the earrings, I believe. Maybe not. Oh, I'm going to do a color sort. Let's see what happens when I colors. I want to make sure I have join consecutive colors. I'm going to do a color sort, see if any of this combines here. And it did. So now my purple, I want my little hearts on top of my pins to be red. So now they're red. And I think I'm going to make my earrings this blue color, which is color 1029. So I can type 1029 on the line here, and I don't have to go searching. And so that's how my little sewing diva came out. And so I'd center her in the hoop. And if I was totally happy with her, I would go ahead and click Save As. And I've already got her saved one time, but I would call her, I'll call her Stitching. And I'm going to name her Stitching Diva 2. Just something slightly different, and she'll save. And so there you go. So that was a lot more complex design, and showed a lot of stitch editing, combining designs, changing colors, changing jumps to, or I should say, changing running stitches to jumps. So I hope this was an informative video for you.